Welcome to Run Elite. Andrew Snow here, and we're going to be talking about the Berlin Marathon with Eliud Kipchoge in 2023. Now, this race was set up to be one of the greatest of all time. We have the GOAT himself, Eliud Kipchoge, towing the line for not his first, second, or third, or even fourth, but his fifth Berlin Marathon. Now, he's won Berlin 4 times, so he's no stranger to this course. He really knows how to go fast here. In fact, he set the world record here. And then he came back and broke his own world record here yet again. This guy really knows how to run a fast marathon with good tactics on this course and when it counts. So the pressure was on. Not only were the conditions perfect for a world record at about 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, it's really ideal temperature for running, but there was no rain in the forecast and there was no wind in the forecast. He had great competition, and on this day, Kipchoge was setting out to truly do something remarkable. Now, if we rewind just a few years, Kipchoge actually broke the 2-hour barrier in the marathon. He did it at the Ineos 159 project. Now, at this race under controlled conditions, Kipchoge was able to break 2 hours in the marathon, the only human to ever do so. And as he started the race in 2023 at Berlin here, it was clear that he was going for a sub-2 marathon, or at least a world record. Now, before we get into his splits, let's take a look at what was expected of him. In the days before the race, Kipchoge was interviewed a number of times, but during one of his interviews, he was asked, is it unfair that the public basically demands of you, Kipchoge, that you run so well that you win and you set a world record every time you toe the line? And he said, no, it actually keeps me motivated. And when I'm back home training, I want to get out there because I want to be able to show these people what I can do, and I want to lift them up. You know, Kipchoge runs for more than himself. His motto at the Ineos 159 Breaking 2 project was, no human is limited. This guy is really running for more than himself at this point. He's already shown himself that he can be the greatest of all time. He can win at the highest level on the highest stage with the fastest times ever. And in fact, he already has 4 of the top 10 fastest times ever run. And when asked, Kipchoge, can you keep progressing beyond where you've been? He plainly said, yes, I can. The marathon is like life. It's long, and I just accept this. So Kipchoge really has a humble, yet very clear and focused mindset when he goes into this race.
My mindset actually is to run a very good race.
So after the gun went off, Kipchoge went out at a pretty good pace, and he went through 5K in 14:12. Now this is exactly 2-hour marathon pace. Good enough to be a world record and good enough to be the only 2-hour marathon or sub 2-hour marathon ever run on a legit course. Clearly he's going for something big here. And he kept that pace. As the pack went through 10K, they went through 28:26, which is still right on pace for a 2-hour marathon. It's very clear that Kipchoge is going for something big here. He would later say that he actually was going for the world record. He went through the half at 1 hour, 22 seconds. Now, clearly that's just slightly behind the 2-hour pace that he was going for in the first 10K. But it was actually just a little bit slower than when he set his world record here last time, where he went through in 59:51. He'd blown up just a little bit and he'd slowed down and he missed breaking the 2 hours. He's clearly having a similar strategy this time, but instead of going out a little bit fast, he's going out just a tiny bit slower. But I do believe that at this point, he was slowing down involuntarily because he was clearly exactly at 2-hour pace for the first 6 miles, and to be slowing down even by 22 seconds, I don't think that this was in his plan. So the 2-hour barrier starts to slip away just a little bit. And you know what? I think that's okay. I think that Kipchoge is okay with that. He's going for a world record, and he is still on pace for a world record. We talk about the 2% rule, and the 2% rule is how you want to pace any race in order to run the fastest that you're capable of. And we break down what Kipchoge did in some of his races to actually break the world record. Now, in short, if you run either half, the first half or the second half of the race, within 2% of the other half of the race, whether it be a positive split or a negative split, you are essentially running as fast as you can. Now, a negative split is arguably the fastest way to run, but let's not forget that Kipchoge's last world record was actually set with a positive split. but it was within 2% of the first half. The second half was within 2% of the first half, and so he still ran as fast as he was capable of. Now, coming into the final miles of this race, Kipchoge was storming away. It was a close race, but he was clearly in the lead, and unless anything happened for him to blow up or something really tragic to happen, he was clearly gonna win. After being at this place in this race so many times, after being here and setting the world record, after multiple wins, after breaking his own world record of just leveling up again and again and again, Kipchoge knew this moment well. And with grace, with poise, and with a little smile that he's so well known for, Kipchoge really took it in, and in the last mile, he just cruised to a nice finish. And he finished in a time of 2:02:42. Now, this was still a very close race. Just 31 seconds behind him was Kipchoge, who ran an outstanding time, one of the top 10 times ever recorded by a human being over the marathon. And then just 11 seconds behind him, in third place, was Tekele. This race really was a close race, close enough to make it very exciting, and close enough to where if anybody had made a big mistake, or even a small mistake, they very well could have dropped back in the pack. But Kipchoge won with grace and with poise, and coming back from a year that hasn't been the greatest year ever for Kipchoge. Remember back in Boston in April, Kipchoge was set to probably win and maybe set a really fast time there as well. But, he didn't have the greatest race ever, and the expectations have just been so high on him. For him to come back and just win here again is really saying something. Now, of the last 19 marathons that Kipchoge has done, he has won a staggering 16 of them. And this is from world marathon majors, from Olympic finals, and he's just seriously, unarguably, unequivocally the greatest of all time, in the marathon at least. And what is most impressive here, I think, is that he's 38 years old. Now, traditionally, society sort of tends to assume that as a runner gets older, that they're going to slow down. And this is not the case. And you could try to argue that and prove that wrong by finding examples of young runners who have done really well. But the truth is that in the mile, in the 5K, in the 10K, in the marathon, and in the ultra marathon distances, the ages at which people are not just winning, but setting even world records, winning world championships, winning Olympic medals, is getting higher and higher. It's not just in the early 30s, mid 30s, but it's in their late 30s and even in their 40s. Is Kipchoge capable of breaking the world record? I will unequivocally say right now that he absolutely 100% is. Yes, totally. Because this time, if we look at his first half and his second half, we get a difference of 3.2%. Now, remember that 2% rule. If Kipchoge were able to keep his first and his second half within 2%, he would have run significantly faster, and I don't think he would have got the world record today, but he's so dangerously close to it that on the right day, with the right conditions, he can break his own world record again. And with the Olympics coming up just next year, who knows what he's gonna be able to do. Now, I say that at the Olympics in Paris, that Kipchoge, barring any major setback or injury, I think that he is going to win. I don't believe that he's gonna set a world record at the Olympics because the Olympics is a head-to-head competitive event, not against the clock, but against each other. So if Kipchoge is to set the world record again, he's gonna do it in a situation just like this. I do think that Kipchoge can set the world record again. I do think he would do it with a positive split because he's going at 2-hour pace. And he just needs to hold on to it to get the world record. And I don't think he's gonna negative split going out at 2-hour pace. He's gonna hold on to dear life. That's clearly his strategy. It's been his strategy. And for sure, it was his strategy at Berlin 2023. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Like this video, comment, subscribe. We have lots of videos that are gonna help you with your running. We break down what elites do so that you can apply it to your training. And if you click the first link in the description, we're actually doing a raffle right now to where you can get a whole bunch of free information, a free signed Run Elite book, free running socks, a biomechanic analysis so that you can improve your running. It's completely for free. It's a fun raffle going on for just a little bit more. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. This has been Andrew Snow with Run Elite, and thank you. You're gonna love this so much. It's endorsed by Bill Rogers, who's the great American marathon runner. He's Boston champion many times over, ranked #1 in the world, New York City marathon champion. We also have an endorsement from Jerry Lindgren, who's one of the greatest American runners that you probably have never heard of before. He beat Steve Prefontaine. He was 11-time NCAA champion, Olympic runner, world record holder. This guy's really good. And this book is just chock full of those things. So if you like the material that you're getting here on the Run Elite YouTube channel, you're gonna love this book so much. It's available print and it's available audiobook too if you prefer to listen. Just look up your copy today of Run Elite, Train and Think Like the Greatest Runners of All Time. Thank you to everybody for your support. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you and take care. Off to run.